So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Letitia. I am the founder of Blue Clay Creatives, which I've been running for over 10 years now. I'm a visual storyteller by absolute definition of my absolute core. I'm a former TV reporter, and I am very, very passionate about regional, having spent 2/3 of my life in regional Australia, and have also, on top of being a single mum, have just started my own new business called Whole Grow, which is all about cultivating leaders in regional Australia. So I'll let some of the other ladies on the line introduce themselves. Yanni?
One second. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny, and I've been working with Letitia for a couple of years now. And I'm not quite sure. Can you? Yeah, you can see me there. Yeah, that's me podcasting. So I'm Swedish Australian. I've been here for about 10 years, no, 20 years and 10 years in Nusa. And I came here as a photographer. So I was studying photography, and I've been having a studio for 15 years. And 5, 6 or 7 years ago, I switched, and I've had a couple of businesses. And then I've been teaching podcasting for about 5 years. And also I've had the 2 shows, and I'm starting a 3rd one now, and I've been teaching that, and I just love it. And I also am a content creator, and I love teaching people, especially teaching them how to do things and how to progress in their business. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction to do that. And I also, I had a problem solver there, and I love, Letitia usually calls me, oh, can you find this, and can you do this, and how does this work? And so I really love solve problems for people, and they come to me for that, and kind of can call me a little bit spider in the net kind of thing. So so that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Anything else, Letitia?
Oh, just that we call you the IKEA brain, because like you love those puzzles. And if you don't know it, she's one of the very few people I know, and this is why she's been a core integral part of my team for years now, is because she loves going out and fixing stuff. So really grateful to have her helping me. Claire, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I am the founder of Buy Local Noosa and Buy Local Sunshine Coast. And I've been a local for over 40 years now, and I am extremely passionate about small business. And I turned that passion and I guess my experience of running my own business, which is bookkeeping and financial management, into something that I've felt very strongly about for a long time, which is why it is so important to support local business. So I've actually been able to turn my passion into my own business, and we now have a great platform which is only going to get bigger and bigger as we are in the process of building another form of it, which will encompass the entire Sunshine Coast. So I'm a single mum as well, and I work very hard for small business, and I'm very proud of what I've been able to achieve with Buy Local. And I have listened and asked lots of questions in the last 18 months as to how can we help. And the theme is very strong that businesses need support in their marketing messaging, in their social media, and to tell their story. So Letitia is actually one of my clients and has been for a few years, and I am very grateful for her and Jenny supporting this passion and bringing their passion to this as well, because together and we can make something really great of this. So thank you very much, ladies, for bringing this today, and I'm sure we're going to learn lots of really cool stuff, so enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you very much, Claire, for reaching out and, giving us these insights. And what you said earlier is a really common thing. So I'll launch into all of this now. Feel free to jump off if you like, Claire, but until we bring you back on at the end. So one of the most common problems is people go stuck on a merry-go-round. They question everything they do. They go round and round in circles, create a great deal of confusion and overwhelm. So hopefully with today, what we'll be able to do is, simmer some of that down and give some clarity to your strategy. Some of the biggest mistakes we see is people don't have a strategy. They're out of alignment with what they're saying and doing with their core values, which is really important. They don't understand the communication channels out there, let alone social media. They haven't actually considered their audience with their messaging. They don't track the return on investment. So they're putting cash out everywhere, but they have no idea the benefits of what they're doing. Some people, when they start out in business in particular, can be really inflexible, and they don't actually listen to what the market's responding with. So if you go in with questions and ask questions, they can provide you really valuable insights as to how you should not only market to them, but how you can serve them better as well, which will, you know, pepper down any eradicate any issues around confusing messaging or the unclear, I guess, the lack of clarity around your why. The reality is any of these things create a big suck of time and money. And let's be honest, none of us have too much time and too much money. So these are valuable resources. So what we'll be covering today, these are numerous considerations we'll be throwing at you to help inform your strategy. Some of those things that we'll be talking about today are which platform is best, the benefits of podcasting, messaging, how to create a compelling story, and streamlining your content creation. So diving in, which social media platform is best for you and where is your audience? There are hundreds of social media channels across the world. These are just the top 23. We will not be going through these 23, obviously. So what we'll do is focus on the ones that I think are most probably relevant to the audience, you today. So the reality is Google, Facebook, and YouTube still make up 80% of the advertising spend on digital platforms. So that would mean that they are the most popular in that sense. Facebook, you know, the majority of us have it. It is the biggest platform with over 2 billion regular users across the globe and 11.5 million Australians, considering there's only, what, 24 million of us. And the majority of those are 18 to 29-year-olds, and 35 to 50-year-olds are actually on the rise. And globally, there's over 65 million. I particularly like Facebook for some of my clients because we can get those insights and really target. You'll have to excuse me, I have a really tickly throat today, not ideal timing. FYI, not COVID. YouTube. This is probably a really underutilized one still by a lot of people. I'm just going to have the book. I'm so sorry, really bad timing. Yenny, if you can just jump in if you can't hear me, or if I have another coughing fit, I might get you to take over.
That's okay. Yeah, so as you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, all right, okay.
So I'll fly through this. Essentially, YouTube is owned by Google, and it is optimized for organic views. So things like SEO are really important to consider on this. And we can dive into video content a little bit later. Instagram, 1 billion monthly active users. Audience in Australia, predominantly women under 34. It is owned by Facebook now, and they've got a lot of new evolving kind of benefits to the platform, like IGTV for longer form videos, and of course it's home to the influencer. But hopefully my mute button, Yanni, is my mute button working when I'm coughing and turning it off?
Oh yes, it is. Do you want me to go ahead, or are you fine? Yeah.
I should be okay.
You look good.
Twitter probably still really underutilized. I'm just going to pop a a little lolly into my mouth. By a lot of people. I think originally when it came out, everybody was on the Twitter bandwagon. But I find Twitter really, really useful for reaching out to news and media outlets. It's great for real-time information, so news for government feeds, et cetera, and very much followed by politicians and utilised by that, as we all know, thanks to Donald Trump. And you can see some of those ratios around who's on it. LinkedIn, amazing platform, wanting to connect with B2B. If you don't know what B2B is, that's business to business. So if your target market is, if you're a service provider like myself as a marketing agency wanting to connect with other businesses, that's a really good platform. But also it's great for stakeholder engagement and reaching out to people to find employees, contractors, getting advice, et cetera. Really great for building your own personal brand as well. Pinterest, I threw this on here because it's great for people, particularly in brand and product arenas, and Pinterest does do ads. You can create digital pin boards, so inspiration boards, and people go there. I know I go there for inspiration and create my own boards. And it does have a lot of influencers going there and interacting and making money from it as well. And that's got about 250 million monthly users. Yeah, Yenny gets to talk for a little bit. Yenny, I'll hand over to you to talk about podcasting and where that fits into the social media content strategy side a bit.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you guys can see me on the screen. Okay, you can. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I've been doing podcasting for quite a few years now, for around 6 years. And when I started 6 years ago, it was just booming. And this is an underutilized thing to use. Like, it's actually, I would call it like a social media tool. But I just put a couple of facts here. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of perspective. And this is something you can do later on the track. You don't have to do it straight away. So as we want you to know, like, you know, you just choose one or two things to concentrate on. But this is from a couple of stats from a couple of websites. So over 1.6 million Australians, they download audio or video podcasts per month, and that's quite a big thing. And 2.2 million Australians visited leading streaming music site Spotify. As you all know, Spotify, and Spotify also had I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, they started with the podcast there. So, and also Apple Podcast has got over 500,000 active podcasts. And this is actually active ones. It's probably over 1 million other podcasts there as well. And they got over 100 languages. And there were 48 million podcast episodes on Apple Podcast. And this is from April 21. So 2021. So just think about this. Everyone has got a phone, and 85% listen to a podcast on the phone. So I was just thinking, if you could go to the next slide, please. Okay, so the positive things with podcasting and the benefits is a couple of years ago, Google started to create or like accept podcasts as SEO searchable. And for you that don't know SEO, it's a search engine optimization. And if you have your content or if you write what it is about, you can search it on Google and you can find your podcast. And also it's a great way to create extra content. If you have a video, you can turn it into audio podcast and you can transcribe it. And from that, you can create a blog. And from a blog, you can create a book and then social media content. But this is a little bit extra information we can do in another webinar. And it's also free to start with. You can start a podcast pretty much with your phone and just download an app. and it's usually free to upload as well. And you will connect with a global audience, and it's a great way to interview and connect with people on a global level, and also connect with your audience by sharing stories. It's kind of a little bit soft marketing, and get interview on other podcasts, which actually get their audience. For example, if you have a book or you have a brand or something like that, and it increases brand awareness. I could probably talk about this for hours, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a basic understanding of the power of podcasting. But most of all with podcasting is you share stories, and through stories you share a little bit part of yourself, and you create an interest, and people come back to you. So yeah,
Yanni, and I think you brought up a really important aspect. The reason we did insert podcasting into this, albeit only 5 minutes worth, is because it feels like it's made a bit of a comeback since COVID, and it is a really, really amazing way to create conversation. I'm using it with WholeGrow, my startup, and I'm reaching out to people who have aligned values, who are thought leaders, and people who inspire me. And I'm interviewing them. And what it's great for is it creates content for me that I can repurpose across my marketing channels, which I'll talk about later. But it's also an opportunity for that person to grab some content as well. So most people are really willing to jump on a podcast. And you can also video record your podcast as well. Again, we'll jump into that a bit later. So who is your target market? Look, this is one of the most probably confusing areas for people. When I, as a marketer, sit down and ask people, who's your target market? A lot of people have a very broad idea of who their target market is. So the question is, do you really know them? Do you know their problems, their limitations? Do you know their thoughts and emotions, and how you're uniquely offering a solution to that person or group of people? Because you need to ask intimate questions. Why you need to do this is it creates authentic conversation. Now more than ever, we are craving actual, proper, genuine connection with people, and we're, I would say, probably quite mistrusting at the moment. And if we are to create connection, we need to create empathy. So what I mean by that is, by going back to those, understanding their problems, limitations, thoughts, and emotions, you're putting yourself in their shoes. If you're able to do that, and you have aligned values, and they can understand where you're coming from as a person selling them a product or service, and that they can hear that you're empathizing with their situation. I don't care if you're cleaning pools, or you're switching out selling them a candle, whatever it is, you've got this opportunity to build trust with them, and create that empathetic connection. And most of all, your purpose is the unique solution. And what I mean by that is, it's understanding your why and how you do it differently. And I'll come to that a little bit further on. So when we're formulating our messaging, it's really important to group your target markets and be as specific as possible. So, for example, I was working with a woman who is a personal stylist, and she wanted to help women look and feel better. Big category, right? Within women, you've got a lot of different ages at different stages in life, with different life barriers, for example. So factors that you want to consider are what age are they? Where are they living? What are some of the limitations and problems that they're experiencing? Put yourself in their shoes, interview some people. What are some of the thoughts that they're having at the moment? How does that make them feel? And how are you, as a service provider or product or business, helping them with that? So for example, with the personal stylist, if we take the demographic of, a 35-year-old single mom getting back into the workforce, some of the thoughts that I might have would be around, I'm not pretty enough, I'm scared of putting myself out there. The emotions that I have are fear, insecurity, all of that sort of stuff. So then being able to talk to that limitation problem as a service provider, I'm here to empower you, to make you feel better about yourself and walk out of your house with confidence. You know, going back into the workforce as a single mum is really difficult. I'm here to hold your hand during that process. So there's all sorts of different ways we can use this power and tool of empathy to create a conversation across all platforms on social media, for example. And it's really important that you spend the time to understand who your target market is and be really specific with how you're talking to them. Don't be a generalist. I can't relate to a generalist because I want to know how you're going to help me and why I should choose you out of everybody else that's throwing information at me. So one of the ways we can do this is through telling stories. And what I mean by that is I don't want to hear just what you do, whether you're a candlestick maker or you're a podcaster or you're a writer or you're a marketer or you clean houses. Yeah, great. I understand what you do, but I want to know how you do it and why you do it, because that's going to be the deciding factor, along with a couple of other things like price and availability, that makes me want to buy from you. So think how. How are you unique? How are you bringing a certain uniqueness to your business that nobody else around you could do? And this might take some digging in to actually dive in and understand how you are doing that in your business, because I think we take it for granted. And a lot of us, you know, it's a bit of an Australian thing. We actually don't like puffing our chests up too much. So you might have to dig in and figure out what unique part you are providing, how you do it. You might be really unique in your particular product that you're creating. You might be putting extra love into your service. Is there a particular impact that you're creating? For example, does a percentage of your sales go to a charity? Are you using only local ingredients, which then has a flow-on effect of creating local jobs and whatnot? Maybe you're biodynamic, organic. Those sorts of things are really important to people. Share your why. Why did you start your business? What's the story behind it? Is there a little, I know with Whole Grow, it's a whole succession of little things that have happened to me to lead up and create Whole Grow over about 10 years. I share that story because it makes people really curious and it helps them understand my passion and my values around creating Whole Grow. Why does it get you out of bed? Because let's be honest, running a business is really hard. And some days you don't want to get out of bed. So there'll be a reason why you get out of bed. What is the problem that you are solving? You know, I think, again, we get so consumed with, well, I have to do this and I have to get this amount of sales and I have to tick this box and I have to reconcile this figure. We forget that we're dealing with people. And people at the end of the day want to have their lives made easier. So how are you making a person's life easier? How will their life be different? To you, you might be selling a candle to someone, sure, but that candle could create a romantic environment for a nervous boyfriend to propose to his girlfriend. It could be a moment of solitude for a mother from her screaming children, just 1 minute to focus on the flame. You're creating an opportunity for people to see themselves in a situation where your product or service is going to create just a little bit of happiness and difference in their life. So putting yourself, again, empathizing with them is really important as part of that story. Jenny, if there's any questions that come up in that sidebar that you feel should be inserted, otherwise I'll just keep going and we can have questions at the end. So the
I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things lots of people ask, how do you create content on a budget? If we've got all these social media platforms, which one should I be on? And how do I create this content when I don't have the time, money, resources, or the know-how? So, sorry, my button got a little bit stuck. So I won't go into the Payzone model too much today, but this is what we call the different forms of media, and it's basics of public relations. So there's paid, earned, owned, and shared media types. And these are different areas of content creation that you need to bear in mind. And like I said, I'll only touch on 2 of these really quickly today. Owned media. These are things like your websites, your newsletters, podcasts, webinars, articles, blogs, branded graphics, audiograms, any of the stuff that you're creating and putting out there on social media or any of those other platforms. Social media, I mean, you all know what social media is now. You're all involved in it in some way or another, and this is how you came to this webinar, no doubt. So as we saw before, lots and lots of different platforms there. So in terms of keeping everything that we've talked about in this webinar in mind, what I thought would be really useful is if we had a little bit of an example of how we could create one piece of content and from there create a whole bunch more of content. So as an example, I might record a video. I'm going to pop again, 1 second. Nope. I might film an interview and I put that piece of content out there as a long form video. I might pop that on YouTube. I then might pop it and upload it to Facebook or IGTV. From that, I might upload the audio onto a podcast on one of the podcast channels, bearing in mind with all of these activities, SEO and keywords. If you don't know what those are, every time you go into Google, you're basically utilizing SEO keywords and we're collecting information, or not me personally, but Google's collecting information on those sorts of things. But creating a podcast, uploading that audio file, you might then chop down little bits of those videos or little bits of those interviews and create 5 to second little bits of micro content and pop that out on social media and space all of this out over the month. You might turn that interview into a written blog. There's lots and lots of really cool resources out there, like Rev, that transcribe video. So you don't even have to sit there and type it all out. You can send it off for a couple of bucks, get it back, and it's all transcribed. And then you could turn that into a little bit of written content. From that, you could then go out and pull out really good solid quotes, or pull grabs as we call it, and create little graphics like this that are all done in your brand colors and on point with your brand. And then further to that, you can create what's called audiograms. And that's what this little picture here is. So this was a video that I shot, a video interview I shot for Holgrow. Yenny then edited that down into an audio file and then overlaid my picture. Oops. And, you know, just with one recorded interview, we have about 15 to 20 bits of different content. So this is what we call repurposing. So, you know, there are so many different ways you can create content and repurpose it and reutilize it. A lot of people aren't doing this and they're wasting money, time, and effort. And what I'd be encouraging you to do is right back at the beginning, think about who are we talking to? What platform are they using? What am I trying to say to them? And how am I going to say it to them? And it's different people prefer different forms of mediums and being communicated with. I love visual content, obviously, but sometimes, especially if I'm scrolling on my phone in bed with my little one beside me, I can't listen to video. So I might watch, you know, a video with closed captions on instead. So think about how people consume their information. So after you've created all this content, obviously it's about sharing it. So you can pop it out on YouTube, pop it on your website, spread it out over your social media channels, the ones that you're on. Don't feel the need to be on all of them. In fact, I would only encourage you to be on one until you nail that and feel comfortable. if it's the type of platform where your audience is actually sitting. Don't try and be everything to everyone, because it's just a waste of energy. Create a newsletter, start building up that database, send out this content through your newsletter, and create a podcast platform. If nothing else, it's great engagement with community and stakeholders, and it's a bit of fun. I really enjoyed it anyway. So content creation tips, I highly recommend, as I said before, plan your content. There's a bunch of different tools out there. We use Trello. Yenny's a very visual person. So she likes to actually insert those photos and, you know, have our brand guide in there as a reference point. So all the content that we push out, visually, it's on point with our brand, but it also is on point with our messaging and who we always come back to, who are we talking to, why are we talking to them, and what do we want to do. So you've got to constantly be thinking about what is the conversation and what action do I want them to take. So our final tips is mix it up. You saw some examples of all the different types of content you can create. Try different things. I know sometimes it's hard to get in front of the camera. Some of my clients hate me for putting them in front of the camera, but with practice and over time, they actually start to enjoy the process. I know they do, because they always jump at the chance to get back in front of the camera. So like I said before, choose one social media platform if you're starting out and just get that right. If you think the majority of your market is on Facebook, or maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Pinterest, focus on that one first. Have a call to action. And I don't mean every single post that you do has to have a call to action. And what I mean by that is call now, learn more, contact us, sign up, blah, blah, blah. Don't constantly talk at people. Engage in a conversation, ask questions, think about what they're doing, and provide content that's educational for them. What I'll say is it's about testing and measuring and trial and error. Don't think that you're going to become an influencer overnight. Don't think that you're going to have 1,000 sales from one post. There is no quick fix. It is a long-term play. It's a little bit like running a marathon. You'll have little sections of sprints that you have to do. It's about showing up and being consistent. And like I said, don't always sell and talk at people. They don't want that. Engage them in conversation and share part of your story. And that might mean digging in a little bit further. As I said earlier, it's about consistency, showing up, but also consistency with your brand and what you're saying. And look, at the end of the day, if you try this and you just suck at it, because we've all got our strengths and weaknesses, outsource it. If budget's an issue, maybe you can find a university intern who's happy to help you out for a cheaper budget, or there are always different other avenues, doing contra deals, creating a bit of a swap with a person who, again, might be starting out and needs something that you've got to sell as well. So there's lots and lots of different options there. So what I thought is, I will obviously, this is my call to action. I encourage you to follow Blue Clay, Wholegrow, and Buy Local Noosa, Buy Local Sunshine Coast. Follow us on social media, sign up to our newsletters. We do offer a range of different workshops and events. In-person events are a little less frequent these days. We also offer mentoring. We have a range of packages, content packages available for you if you are looking at outsourcing. And we do have exclusive offers to offer people. So what I thought, we are doing pretty okay for time. If anyone has any questions, do you want to type them in the box and let us know how else we can help you, because we're really keen to hear from you some of the struggles that you might be facing as a small business, and how we might be able to support you in answering any of those questions.
Can I just add one thing as well, Letitia? You did touch on what you own and all that, but a lot of people, they don't even have a website. I just want to encourage people to get a website because that's something you own. As you know, sometimes your social media account can just disappear in one day. And I know that's happened to a lot of my friends that have brands, and they're like, oh my God, I lost everyone now. So always think about that. What do you own and what can you point people back to? Don't just do it to your Instagram account, do it to your website, because that's where you are. So
Yep, absolutely.
thanks, Helen. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. By all means, share as well, guys, what it is. What did people get the most out of today? What was the, if you only took one key takeaway, what would it be? If you want to share with everybody, don't be shy.
When using, oh, sorry.
That's right, Tamsin, when using YouTube, is it correct that 100K subscribers means YouTube will start being paid? Look, I think they constantly keep changing the parameters. You're probably a little bit more familiar with YouTube than the current situation, Yenny. Do you know? Yeah,
I think so. But sorry, but in today's environment, it just changes all the time. But you're pretty much on point there, Tasmin. Yeah. But also there, or have your website and point to that. It's okay. So Janet, which platform do you think all is best for over 50? It depends what you have. What do you have? What do you have? Oops, go so fast. Oh my God.
So I guess the question is there, like over 50s women, what are you selling them? Is it a product, service? Are they in business? Is it homewares? Is it
heartfelt clothing? Oh, Janet. Okay, Janet. Oh, okay.
You know Janet.
Yeah, I think so. Is it you, Janet from Noosa? I think so. Yeah. So I would say just go. Yeah. Yes. Hi, Janet. I think you're doing a great job on your Instagram. I will just go Instagram and Facebook and just and still point to your website, but also people do live videos. Just do like 1 minute a couple of times a week. It's great. People love that.
I also think maybe Pinterest would be a good place. I know for me, I go to Pinterest for inspiration and stumble upon brands that I've never heard of that are local. And so I think it's about understanding what your unique messaging is. And this is where SEO comes in. What are your keywords that your audience is looking for, i.e. on Pinterest or in Insta, those sorts of things? What are they searching for? Because, it might be comfortable footwear, for example. So think about what people are searching for and where they might be accessing that content that leads back to you.
And this and yes, Janet, it's like, yeah, I know you've done some in the newspaper, but the thing is, like, how do you think, does it work for you, or does it work better on Instagram and tag other people there? I'm not quite sure. Or contact buy local.
Yes, absolutely.
And also,
can I just say on that point, Yenny, like that's a really strong reason why we're doing what we're doing here with our platform, is because there's so many avenues that you can go down and they can be very expensive. A lot of them can't be measured. And if you're starting out, you don't have the budget for, higher level of marketing. So we've created that website to give people an opportunity to be found. It is early days, and we are certainly building up. We have over 100 small businesses on there already, but it is a place that you can be found online, and it ticks the boxes for a lot of people that may not have had the opportunity to either create their own website or have a budget that can extend that far, and then through that as a subscriber or a member of our campaign, you know, we will do your social media posts and you know, share your information, your sales, your, you know, your why. So yeah, that's how we kind of fit into that little problem solving area.
Yeah, and one thing about buy local is that you know, it's all about buying local. So people who seek out products and services that are local generally are conscientious buyers. Understanding what those conscientious buyers are thinking and feeling and why they're buying local, they'd prefer to, as an example, maybe spend a little bit more to know that their dollars are supporting a local family and staying in the local economy. So if you're sharing that story of why you're a local and how you're a local and why local means something to you, you're going to find your tribe, and that's where the alignment of values are really, really important to communicate with your target market.
Also, one thing when we talk about this, how to niche yourself, because that, I think that's a new thing as well. You work with others, you know, if you want to go local and all that. But one thing that we haven't mentioned, and something, hashtags. I just see people doing like 40 hashtags. Please, people, just keep it to 4 or 5. Niche it. Like, you know, what area are you? Where are you looking for? You know, like, what do you do? You know, like people hashtagging life, or life is good if you sell something. Just do something that's to your market, and you know, that's in your area. Less is more.
Yeah. So to answer some of your other questions,
Inconsistency as well.
consistencies,
Yeah,
and
thanks,
just
Shannon.
show up. Like, even if you post 3 times a week, it's better than one time this week and then next week I might post 20 times and then you won't hear from me for a week. Just, you can create a whole bunch of content and schedule it, depending what your work to your strengths. If you know you're a particular type of personality who loves putting aside 30 minutes, I might be talking to someone specific on this webinar, putting aside 30 minutes to smash out a whole bunch of work, make that 30 minutes about creating social media content and scheduling it on those different platforms, and then go to your next activity, and then it's out of the way for the next 2 weeks. Come back to it, mark time in 2 weeks. So work to your strengths, and have, you know, have an accountability buddy. Holgrow, which, you know, reach out if you want to know more about Holgrow, or follow us on social media. Holgrow is all about that, creating a community where we can work with each other, encourage our strengths, be accountable to each other, and also you know, help each other where we're stuck. And I think business owners, we're a community, especially small business, local small businesses, we're a tribe, and we do have to look after each other. And I think that's why the local initiative is really important to get behind. Yep, videos. Who said that? I just saw where was that? I've lost the. Someone said they squirm when they're on videos. Look, I have been on camera as a TV reporter since I was 23, something like that. And I'll be honest, it still makes me squirm sometimes. I think it's just about practice makes perfect. Keep showing up, keep doing it. You don't have to be perfect. I just had a coughing fit at the beginning of this. We'll keep it in this video because, hey, it's memorable. Don't be a perfectionist and think you have to get everything right. People want to see the real you, coughing fits and all. You know, maybe don't, you know, be careful with what you say, especially if you're doing lives, but, you know, just get on there and have a go. People want to see the real you. So there's lots of different tools that you can learn to make sure the picture looks great. We also do some training around how to do like mobile productions using your mobile phone. Marg Killerly, who's on this, knows about that. So she's got our little kit and has followed our advice about little tools that you can get to create really good video content. And what she does and what she's done, sorry to speak of you as a she, Marg, but Marg has, you know, utilized the kits that we have and the advice we've given to film content and then sent it to us to edit it. So creating that video professional edit while she's pulling in the video content. So that's always another option as well. Again, know your strengths and what you are capable of doing and what you have capacity to do. And then where possible, look for other people to fill the gaps. Is scheduling possible with Instagram? Yanni, your question?
Yeah, for sure. Do I have? Yeah, I got the audio. Yeah, okay. So yes, it is. There's a couple of scheduling tools. You have one called Later, later.com. You can also do it on Canva now. If you create content there, canva.com, they also allow you to do that. You have Hootsuite, the good old Hootsuite. Also, Facebook has got it, Facebook Creator, or Planoly as well. Thanks, Beck. I usually prefer Facebook Creator Studio because there you can also schedule IGTV videos, which is also really good if you can get them up on Instagram, because they are also SEO searchable and you can put your links there, so you can click straight to your video on YouTube or your to your website there. So just something to think about there too. There's heaps of options. So
yeah. Ken's also asked, this is another question for you, Jenny. If you go down the podcast route, how regularly should you do them?
I think it's all up to you, but usually once a week or maybe once every second week. It all depends, and it can be up from 5 minutes to an hour. Some people have longer, but I would maybe do it maybe 20 max, because usually like the research I've done and my experience, people like to listen to something when they walk or they drive the car. So yeah, just something to think about. But most of all, make it simple and make sure you have a buffer before you start with everything, because there you can also schedule it, and you can schedule it out and push it out to your blog as well, and also embed your podcast player on your website. So people go there and click on it and listen there too, which is really good for Google, because they love when people stay on your website. Then you go up in rank as well. So it's all, anyway, I'm going to stop nerding out with that now. So
and I think what's important with any kind of activity, not that you do, not just in your marketing, but in your business, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's going to be the return on investment for me right now?
Yeah.
And is it the best use of my time? Based on what you have available. If it's going to create a massive amount of overwhelm because you know nothing about podcasts, you don't even know what podcast means, and you are already managing 4 social media accounts and you don't have any time and you don't have any money to outsource, I'd probably say not the right avenue for you right now. But if you are going to do a podcast, think about, who do I want to talk to? What do I want to get out of this? How can I repurpose that content? So as we gave that example earlier about film the podcast on your computer and create a whole bunch of other social media content. If you're in the startup space, like I am with my other business, WholeGrow, it's a really good opportunity for me to connect with potential partners, stakeholders, government, and let people know about WholeGrow, because there's people love talking about themselves. Well, a lot of people. And it's a great opportunity for them to be interviewed and share that experience about why they do what they do. So you're both creating that content.
Kent had a question here. What about using polls on Instagram to find out what people are interested in featuring on upcoming podcasts? It depends how big of a following you have. That's all. Yeah, or do you have a good, do you have a big newsletter list, for example? That might even be better, but I will go there as well on Instagram as well and ask people. But my experience in Instagram, they're not too chatty there. Maybe on stories, I would maybe use stories, because you can do polls there, and that's probably the best option there, and also on Facebook, I guess, and I don't know, or Snapchat polls, if you are there as well. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone else, sorry if we've missed anything, does anyone else have any other questions we can help, with to answer today, or any feedback? I'd love to hear that. As I said, we have recorded this, so we'll send out the recording a little bit later on, and connect with you all. But if there's nothing else, Claire, is there anything?
Someone putting the hand up.
Oh, yep.
Is that, yeah.
I think they're literally just putting their hand up. You're welcome, Beth.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you so much for that.
Oh,
insight.
not me. Sorry.
I must admit, when I started doing what I was doing with Buy Local, I had no idea. So just listen and learn and ask questions, and you'll get it wrong 5 times or 15 times, as I've done regularly, but just keep going. Just don't give up. Just try different things. And learn from these opportunities. I think this is great experience and knowledge right here for 45 minutes. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, and drive your business, and enjoy what you are doing. And thank you so much, ladies. That was really good.
You're welcome. It was really lovely to see some familiar names, I should say, but also some new ones on there as well. So like I said, please follow Buy Local, Whole Grow and Blue Clay on social media. We'll be in contact via email with this presentation link and the PDF, so you can refer back to the notes. And look, always happy to receive feedback. So I'll probably send out a little quick survey poll for you guys as well. And we can run these again. Like I said, we do generally have events, but we've had to move them all online for the time being. Yanni, anything else you wanted to say in closing?
I have fun, like when you do things, like, we forget that sometimes. Have fun, have conversation with your clients, prospects, and it's okay to post a photo of a dog once in a while, like cuteness, we need that as well. And I just want to say before we go, just the thing about the tagging. Just be mindful when you tag people. Just don't tag a lot of people. Tag it when it's relevant. And, not just because you want some attention of people. Is it relevant to your brand? Is it relevant to your business? Is it maybe someone you have done a photograph with? Yeah, tag them. And so just think about that as well. Think about how you would like other people to approach you. So,
Don't annoy people. Like if it's a genuine connection, people are genuinely interested in engaging back with you. But if you're just spamming them and filling their inbox with annoying stuff that's really not relevant, even if they were a big fan, they'll drop from being a raving fan to a you're annoying me, go away contact. So be respectful, do unto others, as they say, and be authentic. Don't try and be anything you're not. Listen to your gut. Like, it's amazing how many people I do sessions with where they've had bad experiences with marketing companies or consultants, and they've been in session with them and it's not gone well. And I dig into and I ask, why didn't it go well? Why didn't it work? And they said it just didn't feel right. Listen to that. Don't be convinced that someone else has all the right answers. Listen to what you think is right. And it doesn't mean don't question yourself and push yourself to do things that are uncomfortable. Don't stay in the shadows because it's easier. I think you've just got to listen to your intuition and be genuine with how you're engaging conversation. If you're being pushed to do a marketing strategy that doesn't feel right and is going to cost you an arm and a leg, maybe listen to that. If sending an email that you've been told to send with language that doesn't sit well with you, don't send it, because that's your brand. That agency and consultant can walk away, no damage done to them, but that's your brand. So consider everything that you're putting out as being a reflection of who you are. But anyway, I will step back from the philosophy train and I will say goodbye. Thank you, everybody who turned up today. It was really fun, besides the coughing fit. Thanks for that. And sorry, how embarrassing. But yeah, I hope to see you guys online and maybe in another workshop. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Letitia. Thanks, Jenny.
Claire.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.